This is the story of Stretch. For about 3 years, I hunted this deer. Saw him on camera, saw him in person, and never had the chance. This isn't just a story of one hunt. This is a story of 3 years of encounters, close calls, and persistence for the biggest buck of my life. I had seen Stretch in multiple trail cam pictures over and over, and then finally laid eyes on him. It was a cool October evening, slow night up until it started to get dark. Watching some deer in the field to the south of me, and when I turned and looked, here he was coming across the field in front of me.
Alright, it's about 6:45. Still got 10 minutes of light, 20 minutes of light. There's a deer out here. I was about to do one last interview, but there's a deer out here. Sucks.
He was big when I first saw him, but I had no idea just how big he would become. I had a close encounter with him that year, but unfortunately he went by just out of range. I hunted hard for him that year, but never saw him again. I had him in my mind all off season, but I wasn't sure if he would show up again. And then, right before the season, he did. I got pictures of him in daylight the day before the season started. As you can imagine, that moment got me pretty excited. I was hoping I would see him in early October and maybe even have a short season. But that didn't happen. It was an evening hunt in early November, and I saw him probably 400 to 500 yards away in another field. I climbed down out of the tree stand and moved to where I thought he was going to go. Once he came over the hill, I grunted once and he was coming right for me. I thought my plan was going to work out perfect. I had set up behind a tree where he couldn't see me until he would have stepped out into his shooting lanes at about 20 yards. At that point, I would have got the shot off before he even knew I was there. But as deer often do, he foiled that plan. He decided to change his course, and instead of coming where I thought he was going to, he cut the corner of the field and was coming pretty much right at me. When I tried to move to get in position to take a shot, I stepped on a leaf, and that one leaf is all it took. Stretch heard that and bolted. At that moment, I was in the lowest of lows as far as you can be for a deer hunter. At that point, one of the biggest deer I've ever laid eyes on was coming right at me, and because of the way I set up, I didn't have a chance. couple weeks later, I did happen to see him again. He was bedded down with a doe in the neighbor's field, and I thought that maybe he would make his way all the way to me. At one point in time, he was only about 150 yards away, but still with the doe. It was about 9 o'clock or so, and the neighbor happened to go on a walk. He decided to take his dog for a walk across the middle of that field. Well, as you can imagine, it didn't take Stretch long to figure out what was going on, and he and the doe both took off. At that point, I was convinced I would never see this deer again.
Alright, it's Friday, November 24th. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Had a great day yesterday. It's fairly windy today. It's cold, about 36 degrees right now.
The season came and went. It was nice to be able to harvest a doe, fill the freezer, and get some action. I saw Stretch twice, but never saw him a third time, and never got him close enough. Never saw another buck worth taking a shot. In April of 2024, we were out doing some general maintenance of the woods. I happened to run over one of his sheds with the mower. That got me excited because I knew he made it through the season. Alright, so it's April 8th. We're out here this evening, pretty much just mowing down some of the tall grass on the paths we got in the woods and looking for mushrooms, but mowing out in the waterway. I'll have to look back at my pictures, but I'm 99% sure that this is from Stretch. If this really is his, it tells me he made it through the hunting season and dropped him. So, I mean, just look at the mass he's got on the bottom of these. This is an old deer and a big deer, and I don't think I've ever been this excited for hunting season in April. So hopefully this means he'll be back. It's a shame I kind of hit it with the mower a little bit, unfortunately, and chipped some of it off, but I'm gonna take it home and try and get a rough score, see if I can't figure out what he would have been last year, judging off pictures, and now that I've got one side of it. So I'm pumped for this year. I took the shed back home, did some measurements, tried to figure out about how big he was based off of the one shed I had in the pictures. Doing those measurements, I guessed he was about 135 or 140 inch deer. I was pumped that he was that big and I had a chance to get him, and was just hoping that next season would present another opportunity. Little did I know what was going to happen the following year. This year, I was more excited than ever to go after Stretch. I just knew that something was going to break my way, or at least I felt like it was going to. Opening day of the season comes around. Happened to go out in the morning, saw a few does, but no bucks. That evening, had a prior engagement that I had to go to, and when I checked the cameras later, he was 20 yards in front of my stand in daylight on opening day. After I got those pictures on opening day, I spent as much time as I could in the stand trying to find him, trying to catch him slipping up. September came and went, and so did October, with seemingly no sign of him. At that point in time, I was wondering if he was gone and if I would ever lay eyes on him again. That was, until one chilly November morning when the conditions were perfect. On that day, years of close encounters, frustrations, and excitement all culminated into a single moment.
Alright, Saturday, November 2nd. Back out again this morning. Unfortunately, got up a little late and cost me a shot at a nice buck. Had one come right by the stand at about 30 yards, and really nice 10 or 12 point. But I saw he was chasing a doe around this morning, so he didn't know I was there, and he wasn't spooked, thankfully. But I got 5 does way to the north of me up here, so hopefully that's a good sign. Still hopeful something will be moving. That's the direction he went, so who knows, he may turn around and run back this way. spine him, unfortunately. I didn't get the shot on video. Unfortunately, I did hit him in the spine, but I already got down. I put a second arrow in him. And the second arrow was a pretty good one, so he's still alive, but he won't be for much longer. Looked like he just laid his head down, so I'm gonna back out of here and give him another half hour or so before we come back, but I don't feel good about the first shot that I spined him, but he's down. And I did get a good second shot on him very quickly, so I'm gonna back out of here for probably 20 to 30 minutes or so, and then come back and get him, because he looks like he's dead, but he looks like he's down, so I am shaking. That was deer number 22 this morning. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, I'm so freaking happy. I don't like the fact that I spined him, but I got down very quickly. Made a good second shot. And he's down. Here comes another deer. That one's just a doe, but big buck down. Let's go. So we've already gone and made sure he was dead. We're bringing the truck back there now to go get him, and I'm excited to put hands on this deer. 3 years of history finally coming to a close on one of the biggest deer of my life. So unfortunately didn't get the shot on camera, but with a deer this big, I couldn't pass up a shot just because I didn't have it on camera. So can't wait to get my hands on him.
Why is it so blurry?
Because my
We're gonna go outside.
finally put the story of Stretch to an end. A buck I've been after for now 3 to 4 years has finally come to a close. Saw 22 deer this morning. Saw him once, came back around a second time, and came into about 50 yards. Hit him, unfortunately spined him, but got down and put a second shot on him within a minute. So he was done very quickly. But a deer I've been after for 4 years, 3 or 4 years now. Feels really good to finally get my hands on him.